Welcome to Chapter 4, Lesson 4. This begins on page 282. Lesson 4. Multiplying a fraction and a mixed number is very similar to multiplying fractions and fractions. You have to remember, though, to change your mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay? So to do that, if we have 2.5, you have to remember to multiply and then add. So we multiply and then add. So remember to always put a plus sign and a multiplication sign. We multiply our whole number times our denominator. So 2 times 2, and we get 4. Then we add whatever we have for a numerator. 4 plus 1 gives us 5. So our numerator becomes 5. Our denominator never changes. It always stays the same. So 2.5 is the same as 5 over 2. And then we would just multiply straight across or simplify within the problem, if that's possible. Okay, this can't be simplified, so we would just multiply straight across and we get 5/8. And that would be our simplest form. This is the biggest thing that you have to remember. Okay, you have to remember to change your mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay, let's look at some examples. So example 1 tells you to find 1/3 times 1 3/4 and write it in simplest form. Okay, so 1/3 is not going to change, that stays the same. However, we have to change 1 3/4. So we have 1 3/4. We're going to multiply and add. Okay, think of it as ma. 1 times 4 gives us 4, plus 3 gives us 7. Our denominator never changes. So we have 7/4. And again, multiply straight across or simplify in the problem. We end up with 7/12, and that is its simplest form. It cannot be simplified anymore. Okay. Example number 2 tells you to find 5 1/2 times 1/3. Again, multiply, add. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 gives us 11 over 2, because our denominator does not change. Simplify within the problem if you can, but you can't. So we end up with 11 over 6. We can't have an improper fraction. We always have to divide it out. So this says 11 divided by 6. 6 goes into 11 one time, gives us 6. Subtract, we end up with 5 left over. Whatever is the number remaining becomes our numerator. Our denominator does not change. It stays the same. Okay, so we end up with 1 5/6. So 11/6 is the same or equal to 1 5/6. Okay, go ahead and try letter A and B. Pause the video, come back, compare my answers to your answers, look at the work, see what you've done wrong. If you did anything wrong, write down any questions that you have, and then come back and we'll continue. Welcome back. Here you can see my work. Okay, I will step you through every, whoops, just kidding. I'll go back. Okay, let's try this again. Here I'll take you through every step I took with these problems. Here I simplified in the problem. I couldn't leave it as an improper fraction, so I had to divide it out. I ended up with 1 2/3. Letter B. Had to multiply and add, change my mixed number into an improper fraction, and then multiply straight across or simplify within the problem. I simplified within the problem. 3 could go into 3's, 2 could go into 8 and 10. And I ended up with 1/4 times 5 over 1. Ended up with an improper fraction, so I had to divide again. My answer ended up being 1 1/4. Pause the video if you need to see it more and look at your answers. And we'll continue on to the next page, page 283. Okay. To multiply two mixed numbers, it's exactly the same process, okay? You just have to write each mixed number as an improper fraction, okay? Tells you to use the greatest common factor, or GCF as it's also known, to simplify. That's exactly what we've been doing with our factor T's, okay? So, we have 1 7/8 times 3 1/3. We have to multiply and add. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 7 gives us 15. Our denominator stays the same all the time. Then we have to do the same thing to the next one. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Our denominator is 3, so our denominator is 3. Then we can simplify within the problem here. 8 and 10, 2 can go into 8 4 times. 2 can go into 10 5 times. 3 and 15, 3 can go into both. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 15 5. So now we have 5 over 4 times 5 over 1. We end up with 25 over 4. Can't leave it as an improper fraction, so we had to divide, and we end up with 6 1/4. Same with number 4. Look through the process, how they solved it, how they changed their mixed numbers to improper fractions, and simplified within the problem. Then go ahead and do letter C. Pause the video, come back, and look for the answer. Welcome back. Let's work through letter C. We have 15 1/2 feet times 9 3/4 feet. Change both of those into improper fractions, multiply and add. You get really big numbers. When you take 31 times 39, you get 1209. You can't leave it as an improper fraction of 1209 over 8. You have to divide it out. Again, you can pause the video to review your work and my work, find any mistakes made. Okay, our answer ended up being 151 1/8 square feet. Finish up any work that you need to finish for today. Ask any questions that you need to ask. Remember, you can rewind and rewatch the videos as many times as you need. Have a great day.